Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of Pop Culture Showdown. Today we got an interesting lineup, and we're going to talk about some more deeper topics. But we're going to do that when we come back. And always remember, you could be next. And we're back, just like that. So in today's episode, we got an interesting topic. We're gonna go ahead and flip it to Brian so he can discuss his point of view on this particular topic. Brian.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So this episode, we kind of want to talk a little bit about diversity and inclusion and representation in the realm of pop culture media. So we kind of want to open up the conversation as far as talking about the importance of diversity in this medium and what it kind of means to us. So Eric, I'll start with you. So how do you see diversity? What does that mean to you?
To me, it means that all groups and people are represented, not just in the physical sense of like, oh, we're just here. They're actively involved in the story. They add something, some nuance. They have their own character struggles. They add to our own like essence of self. Like you see yourself within those characters, you know, whether you be black, white, Asian, and anything else under the sun, just like, and it's somebody, you know, you can relate to, or you look up to, just somebody, or I guess, character-wise, that you like really enjoy and love and see yourself in.
Nice. Tyrell, about like that, what does diversity mean to you, and what is the importance of that that you see in like the content that we consume?
I think, to me, diversity means relatability. I know when I was a kid growing up, I used to watch the Static Shock cartoon, and you know, seeing a character that looks like me on screen is a whole different feeling from like seeing a Peter Parker or a Tony Stark, you know what I mean? So I feel like there's a deeper connection when you can relate to the character and you can share some of those same experiences and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anthony, how do you see it?
I guess, I mean, I see where your point is for all of you, but, you know, I'm a little older, so, you know, diversity on TV itself is kind of new for me. Like when I was around 20, it's a lot less diverse. So when I was 10 years old watching cartoons, you know, seeing a you know, black character or Hispanic character, it just wasn't gonna happen. And if you did, it was almost like kind of like a joke, and you didn't really take it seriously. But I get it, because at the time, the demographic they were trying to sell to wasn't necessarily people from my community or people from my culture, like, you know. But now, you know, the population is very different, so there definitely needs to be the diversity. But at the end of the day, people are just trying to sell material, so they're going to sell to whoever they feel like is going to buy it. Whether it's white people, black people, Hispanic, Asian, you know?
Yeah, I kind of see it. I see all your points, and I think that's ultimately that's what it comes down to. Is like, can you sell to the markets that are consuming your product? And now, as we're seeing the world changing, we're seeing that there are more diverse characters that we're seeing, because people want to see themselves in the content and the art that we're consuming. So whether it be, you know, black people or Hispanic people or people from the LGBTQ community, or women, you know, or people of different faiths or religions, it gives them a sense of pride that they can see themselves portrayed in that light. So I like being able to see that.
Not to cut your wisdom, I hate to interject when people are talking, but I'm saying, like, that kind of reminds me of like when you reading a book or you watching a movie, and some people will say, well, the book was better, and I've always disagreed with that. I'm like, if you got a story somebody's telling you, they're showing you what they want you to see, and if you're reading it, you're pretty much, you know, stuck within the parameters of what you've experienced, because that's the only thing you can imagine. You can't really imagine things that you've never So when you're seeing it on TV or when someone's showing you visually what they're talking about, you can't misinterpret it. So if you got a character that's a storyline based on what you're making up, I can't do nothing but respect it. Because I mean, you're telling, I'm reading your story. I ain't got to go buy it. But if I do, I'm not gonna say you got to change the the ethnicity of the characters based on what I want to read. I like the stories. I could care less who it is.
Yeah, I see that point. I see that point. What are some of your favorite, like, diverse characters? Anybody?
Definitely, probably like he said, mentioned before, Static Shock. That was like one of my first introductions. Static Shock, Green Lantern, John Stewart, Green Lantern.
Stewart, yeah.
That was like my first. I mean, I always knew about Hal Jordan, the originals, but I grew up on the Justice League cartoon, so they primarily used John Stewart. So that was my first introduction to Green Lantern. He's always my favorite. Probably. Let me think.
What about Martian Manhunter?
Martian Manhunter?
John, what's his name? John Jones?
John Jones.
John Jones.
Technically,
I know he's actually a black. He sounds like a black dude to me. You know what I'm saying?
it's funny. That's another thing. You would be surprised how many of these characters in animation are voiced by black voice actors and
Because
actresses.
they sound deep, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that because he sound like that though. But if you look at his environment, he's from Mars. It's hot. Ain't no trees. It's like being in Africa, you know what I'm saying? So if you from Africa, you probably gonna have a certain kind of hue, you know, and he sound like, and he ran up and look, Wonder Woman trying to get at him. You already know how she feels. Soon as she see him, she's like, John. He was like, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he shapeshifts into anything. So I mean, he could be black one minute, he could be white the next.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever.
That's true. Tyrell, what were some of your favorite characters?
A big one for me is Miles Morales. He's
Yeah.
a really cool character to me. I think that just the idea of a black Spider-Man is just awesome to me.
I just thought you was gonna be black.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
I don't apologize. There's gotta be a black Spider-Man somewhere out there.
Especially because Spider-Man, growing up, he was one of my favorite characters of all time. So
Oh, nice.
Damn, for real?
yeah,
I do like Spider-Man.
yeah, Spider-Man's cool.
What about you, man? What's some of your favorite, like, diverse
My
characters?
favorite diverse character though would have to be like Silver Surfer, yo.
Why is the super?
Silver Surfer,
I
explain.
mean, he's definitely from a whole nother culture. He ain't even from Earth. You know what I'm saying? But think about it. He's surfing the wave. Like, just imagine, like, that's like Captain Kirk, but on a surfboard. You go anywhere you want. You just got almost an infinite amount of power. You know what I'm saying? It's a mean topic, but in the meantime, we're going to wrap it up for a second. We're going to come back, break the commercial, and we're going to holler at y'all. And like that, we back. When we left off, we was talking about how dope of a character Silver Surfer is. And I think he's from Africa for real. If there was an Africa outside of the planet, it'd probably be where Silver Surfer's from.
Probably melting the liquid chrome as hot as it is out there.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, he's sweet though. Like, think about it. He cruise around on the board, and he be looking good when he do. He be like, yeah. Galaxy to galaxy. Only thing I don't like about him, like, he, what I mean, his planet got, whatever, but he don't ever be high. I ain't gonna go there, but you know what I'm saying? He just be, he kind of,
Let's go into another aspect of diversity, which we're seeing a lot of nowadays, is kind of like the backlash and toxic fandom and outrage culture. And we see that a lot right now in Star Wars fandom. Unfortunately, we see that a lot with a lot of people of color and women, and we've seen that in the last couple of years, and most recently in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that's streaming currently on Disney+. The actress Moses Ingram has been receiving a lot of negative and horrific comments online because of her portrayal of a character named Reva.
Yeah.
And we've seen this throughout the last few years, and recently with the sequel trilogy, with actors like John Boyega, Kelly Marie Tran, even Daisy Ridley.
Yeah.
But
what was she anyway? She white?
It was the fact that more so people were upset that they kind of pushed her to the forefront because she was like, female lead, and people was like, oh, them pushing the, the women agenda, woke agenda, whatever they.
I think she did a phenomenal job though.
yeah.
Not really a big John Boyega fan, but I mean, I can see why people like him.
Yeah, but sometimes it feels like you can be critical of someone's performance or their portrayal of that character without being racist or being misogynistic. But and I think that is where people try to mask their criticism when it comes to these characters.
I think a lot of the time it's not really genuine critiques of the characters as much as it is them just having racist feelings and racist undertones to how they're looking at these characters. So it's never really about like their performance and how they portray the character. It's always something deeper than that.
Somebody literally sent, was it Moses Ingram, a message saying, "You're not the first N-word in Star Wars." And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I like her. It's funny, it got to the point where they have actually, I think Disney, or at least the Lucasfilms part, was like, they're training them to deal with this type of stuff. It's like, it's not even a question of if, it's a question of when now.
And that's unfortunate, because it's like, to me it feels like, why would you even want to be in one of these properties if you are a person of color, or if you are a woman, or even if you're a director? Because you see, even directors get backlash with like Rian Johnson and with The Last Jedi. But you see how the fandom is, and it's almost like, why would an actor even want to be a part of that fandom? Because you're automatically going to get this backlash.
They should be ready for that though. Star Wars, it's so old. You gotta remember what time it was in this country or in the world. We talking about like when Star Wars first came out, all the Star Wars fanboys that really started there. I don't even know what year that was, but it had to be like 70s.
77.
You know what I'm saying? And imagine how people were. So I'm growing up. We talking about people who I like this lightsaber. I'll show up outside. I might not hang out in my neighborhood with this, but I'll go to a Comic-Con or something with this on and have fun with it. But you got people that will show up to the movie theater, full Obi-Wan Kenobi outfit, and I'm talking about anywhere with this, and they're like, they don't want to see somebody that's different from them. They want to see them with their lightsabers, and they want to. If you're not part of it, if you're not part of how it started, then I don't want you in it.
And that's kind of crazy, because a series like Star Wars, you have the entire galaxy. You're meant to have all sorts of diversity.
You can be green, you can be red, but you can't be black.
Yeah, literally.
You know what the funny thing is? If you look at Rosario Dawson, Rosario Dawson's obviously a woman of color. She plays Ahsoka, which is, Ahsoka's lightsaber. Ahsoka's a species, I forgot the species of alien that she is, but she's orange. And no one has an issue with her when she's orange.
I said you can be red.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter what you are, as long as you're not black.
Unless you're Darth Vader.
Exactly.
But I love that. The Darth Vader, like, that was a black dude in the joint. That's probably
James
why
Earl
they don't
Jones.
like it. Because he was scary, man. Like, the first, imagine being in the 70s, you see Darth Vader, he just shows force choking you.
However, I will say the only thing that I can slightly agree with is, I think the big uproar is that when because I'm not a fan of the new movies, like the movies where I don't like how they were written or anything like that.
Same with you.
Yeah, and I feel as though people are really, hyped up because their criticisms are legit. Sometimes these directors and studios will overly push more political agendas rather than focusing on the characters and the core of the story, and the whole thing will suffer as a result.
Yeah, it's a fine line between telling the story that serves the character and serves the ultimate story, and pushing an agenda.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of see both lines, but it's a fine line that you kind of have to straddle with that. But also dealing with some of the negative backlash. We look and we see this in history, and we don't really see it too much now, but kind of like the race swapping and the whitewashing that we've seen in movies and television. And I mean, we've had examples of that in the past, where you would have white actors playing people from Middle Eastern countries. We had movies like The Last Airbender, Gods of Egypt, Exodus, where you would have and they try to say, well, we need a named person to sell this movie. Yeah. But you're not being authentic.
I understand that, though.
But I get that. I understand you're trying to sell the movie as well, but also you have to be authentic to also the story that you're telling. But I don't know, how do you guys see that as far as race swapping or whitewashing?
Like I said, I guess you want to get the right person for the right job.
Yeah.
But obviously you want to make sure it makes sense. Like you said, you wouldn't have somebody from, England playing somebody who was born and obviously supposed to be in, Egypt. That's, unless they're a person of color, of course.
I get all that, but you understand, like, in the realm of selling movies, if I got a story that I know no one's gonna see it because it don't have the right people in it. Like I'm a big Stallone fan, right? Stallone was a big draw, but he really wasn't that great of an actor.
They do come hand in hand still. Like, you know, you're going to want to have the good storytelling with the right diversity and with the right characters, and make sure you're all doing it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, but a lot of times I feel like too often they get lost in the diversity aspect.
Yeah.
And the story lacks, and then that really pisses, you know, a lot of the other Star Wars people off.
This is an awesome topic. We definitely got to revisit. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and pay some of these bills. We'll be right back.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
And like that, we back. We were just in the middle of a heated topic where they think that Cocoa Krispies are better than Sugar Pops. Now I'm playing. But no.
No, but we're going to kind of end the conversation with just talking about how we see diversity in film and television and comics moving forward. Like, so how do we move forward? What are some of the positive aspects that we see moving forward? Tara, I'll go ahead and start with you. Like, what do you see kind of moving forward in the realm of like seeing more diverse characters in film and television?
I could talk about what I would like to see, and
Okay.
that is more characters who are like actually black. And by that I mean not race swapping characters to make them black, but characters from comic books or books that are actually the ethnicity that they're supposed to be.
Okay, cool. Eric, what about you?
I agree with you, and now I also piggyback. Also, don't, you know how we get to, I hate to get into this, but it's like, you know how when they do actually put somebody of color in the movie or show or whatever, it's always the fair-skinned person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they always put the light-skinned guy, the light-skinned girl, or what have you. And I also
That's
think
not really true.
that sometimes they do.
Don Cheadle and T'Challa was super black. Both
I
of them.
mean,
Yeah, but that's, you know,
but I
those
mean,
could be
even
the
before that, they
exception.
had Terrence Howard before him.
Then they replaced him with Don Cheadle.
And then what they do with Mary Jane, they made it Zendaya.
Who?
Zendaya
No, but who's Mary Jane?
from Spider-Man.
MJ.
The girl, his
Oh, but
girlfriend.
Mary Jane, she was supposed to be white though. Like as far as I
Yeah.
knew, she was white, and they traded her out for a black
She's supposed
girl.
to be white.
Yeah.
I don't know. They have this thing now where they
You can't take two pieces of bread to make a sandwich now, so you can't be mad at one and not be, you know.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, but for me, it's primarily going to be the storytelling. It has to be, the storytelling has to make sense. The characters can't suffer as of like to them wanting to really push their whatever they're trying to get across. But
Let me ask you something. You a Tom Cruise fan?
yeah, I say yeah.
You a Tom Cruise fan?
Yeah.
You a Tom Cruise fan? Y'all know Tom Cruise has been in a lot of movies, and a lot of these characters that he portrays is supposed to be these big, bulky dudes, but Tom Cruise got to be like a dwarf. He's got to be one of the smallest dudes I've ever seen on TV. But if it wasn't for him being in some of these roles, I wouldn't go see him. Like, I would have never watched the Jack Reacher series with him in it, and he's supposed to be like, you know, Billy Bad, you know what I'm saying? Like, whole time, he's 5'1". I don't know. Like, there's no way he's supposed to be able
It
to
may
perform
not
his
have
ass.
it may not have brought you into the theater to see the movie, but I will say the show is a lot better because it's more true to who that character was from the novels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bet you
so-
if you ask 20 people, 100 people,
Yeah.
maybe 30 of them have seen this show. I thought it was a great series. I
Yeah.
like that show.
Yeah.
But all I'm just trying to say is when it comes to selling a product, you got to put the right pieces in it. And sometimes it's not necessarily about, I mean, I know you do get the whitewash thing, but I don't think it's always necessarily about that. You know,
Yeah.
you go around my neighborhood, there's a lot of people that don't go to movies. You know, they might have seen it somehow, but they didn't go to the theater to see it, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
just don't want another like. Did I see Black Lightning?
Yeah,
on
the-
CW.
Yeah, I like the first season. Of it.
Yeah, it's like I like the first season, but after a while, it just turned snowballed downhill. I was like, okay, we
Somebody
get it.
must have snowballed their budget or something.
Yeah, I was
That's
like, every episode is like overly like in your face, like, oh, he's getting harassed by the police. I'm like, okay, dude, we get it. We get the struggle. We already lived this.
What about Luke Cage?
Luke Cage too, for some extent. It was like, why is he talking? Why is half the dialogue written like it's in the 1970s? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like a lot of that devalues the whole project sometimes, or like the whole experience that we have, because it's kind of like it comes off satirical in a way, and it comes off. It's hard to take it serious
That's a
when
good
you
word. I
do
don't
it like
know what
that.
that means. Let me look that up.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I think it also has to do with like just having more diverse characters that give us the production value that we could see ourselves in that light. Like Black Panther, like I don't want to see a Meteor Man or a Blank Man. You know, I don't want to see stuff like that. I want to see stuff where
I couldn't
they
stand
actually,
Blank Man.
they actually give us the care, the love, and the detail of these characters that we love. And I think we're starting to see that more and more in the in things like the
Another
MCU
mile away. So, yeah,
and
I like
the
Meteor
DC.
Man though. Meteor Man was, for its time, that was good. I wouldn't watch it at gunpoint now, but when it came out, and before, you know what I'm saying, they had my man Luther looking like, you know, straight G in that jump. You know, we talking about skinny Luther too, when he looked like a gangster. You know what I mean? But he was playing the bad guy in that movie. He was smooth. But Meteor Man was alright, you know what I mean? Towson.
Not to mention what they did to Steel with
Oh my
Shaq.
God.
Good God.
Shaq did it to himself, man. Shaq know he had no business with
I mean,
Shaq.
Steel is a very good DC character. It's like, okay, for those of you, I mean,
What about Shaq Fu?
Shaq Fu, I don't even know Shaq Fu.
You don't know about Shaq Fu?
I'd heard about it, but I don't want
Oh my God, you dodged a bullet, man. I bought that game because I liked Shaq back then. I was in the house like, I'm gonna kill Shaq when I see him. That shit was so corny. But you gotta give it up to Shaq. Done did everything, man. Shaq got insurance commercials,
Pizza,
He is sheriff.
shoes.
Shaq lived the whole life. He should be a superhero, man. Shaq.
Yeah, real life
Call me-
superhero.
Yeah.
They don't call me Super.
What if it was
Super
Shaq?
Shaq.
Oh, yo, Shaq versus Barkley was a good matchup, man.
We see that every week on
every-
TV.
on TNT.
Yeah.
No, that's all good.
Well, I guess speaking of that, I guess we could.
When we come back,
Yeah.
because we're about to go ahead and pay some more of these bills, but when we come back, we're going to get into
How
the
much we
real
gotta pay?
nitty gritty, the good old Dukaroo.
This place that I call
I want to explain it to her.
And just like that, we back. And the moment you've all been waiting for, we about to get to the big Dukaroo. First up, we have Static Shock versus Miles Morales Spider-Man. Tyrell.
I think right away, I'm leaning more towards Miles,
Off the
only
top.
because he has
Bias.
a lot more versatility with his attacks. You know, not only does he have the bioelectricity, which Static Shock also has, but he has the webs, he has the super strength, the invisibility. I feel like he'd give Static a hard time. You know, it's hard for him. I can't really see Static being able to.
Spider-Man got all that.
Yeah, Miles Morales got all of
He
that.
can be invisible.
Yeah.
He can be invisible,
And he can Static Shock.
and he can Static Shock you. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like he has Static's powers plus some. You know.
what can Static do?
Well, Static, he has what is it called again? Where he could kinetic.
Electric. It's like, what is that? It's not telekinesis. It's like electro telekinesis or something like that. Where he can control. He can move objects with like electricity.
Yeah, like metal
The
objects
electricity
with his
in the air.
mind, with electricity. He could ride on trash can lids and stuff to like fly around and stuff, do things like that.
Could he throw a metal building at you?
I feel like it's probably still a limit to how much he can lift, but theoretically, yeah, he'd be able to throw a metal building. At
Oh, he
somebody.
wins that fight to me, then.
He could use electromagnetic currents in the air and then like control something. Throw
Could
it
he
at
just
you.
grab Spider-Man with this metal like Magneto can?
No, it's not. It's
probably
not like, you know, Magneto be grabbing like Wolverine. That's just because his whole skeleton is.
No, but I'm
adamantium.
saying Magneto could literally take this building. I've seen him do it in person. Like,
Nah.
nah, he could grab the building of metal and just wrap the whole building around you and like, man, get out of here.
No,
So Static can't do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nah,
Static
probably
doesn't seem like
because
he's
it's
that
like there's so much
powerful.
other things in like a building. He could probably strip like a whole fence and then wrap you in like the fence. But
Oh
other
yeah,
than that-
Spider-Man get out of that.
Yeah, easily.
yeah. I see Miles Morales winning that one easily.
Plus, Miles is arguably more stronger than Peter is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
When did that happen?
I mean, just strength wise.
See, I like Miles, but Peter my number one. I don't care what nobody says.
We gotta get to this next fight though. Who's next on our chop block?
Next, we got Doctor Strange versus Doctor Fate. Okay, me personally, I believe I'm going with Doctor Fate mainly because one or two things. Okay, the helmet of Naboo grants whoever the user all the magical abilities, you know, of an entire Lord, the Lord of Chaos, Lord of not Chaos, but Lord of Order. And it's amplified with whoever wears the the helmet. So if, say, Superman puts on the helmet, he'll be super strength and he'll have the helmet. But for the sake of the argument, we're just going to say that it's Kent Nelson or it's Zatara, who are novice magical users. I still think he's beating Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I don't know about
I
that.
feel like the helmet itself is already rivals Strange. So pretty much whoever puts on the helmet, he'd already rival Strange. So to have somebody who's already a novice magic user under the helmet, that kind of just elevates him even further, and it gives them just.
What does the helmet do? Can it control time? We talking about a super weapon with a magic wielder against Strange, who's already a super magic wielder. The best of them, like what's the name said, he's the best of us. And he already got all the special tools. He got the Agamotto, he got blah, 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 he got this book, that book. He can walk in the dead, he can turn back time. We talking about that Strange?
Yeah, I forgot Strange could even turn back time and do some of those things.
He could do that.
It just feels like the fact that you have this helmet that it just gives you an advantage that where innately Doctor Strange already has these magic wielding abilities.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that he can wield magic. He is the Sorcerer Supreme. He has, he can manipulate time and space and reality and everything like that, where
And he's fought Dormammu, who's like got his own dimension, basically.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
going back and forth. I mean,
Hey, did you know Shuma Garath trained Dormammu?
who?
Shuma Garath? Like the octopus creature?
yeah.
Oh,
He wasn't actually in the movie, it was a fake replica, but
yeah, I did
the
hear
real
about
Shuma
it.
Garath, he got the chaos dimension, like if you play like Street Fighter vs. Capcom. You know what I'm saying? I always pick Shuma Garath. I be crushing people too, you know what I'm saying? he like Akuma, but like the alien version. You know what I mean?
Well, let's get into, I guess, what the final one, the big one that
The finale.
we've all been
Oh, yes.
talking about off air here, off screen, is Sarah Connor.
Versus Ripley
Yes.
from Aliens.
Yes. So what do we think about that matchup?
Man, I think Ripley washes Sarah Connor off top.
I still don't know. I feel like it's
Yeah.
going way.
It's a toss-up, man. It's a
Because Sarah
toss-up.
Connor
You know why I
just
think
crazy.
that? She is crazy. Well, she's not crazy. People just thought she was crazy because if you see a killer robot that you know is alive, run through a police station, kill everybody in it, and you're like, yo, I saw this happen, yo. I seen it. You
That didn't
can't tell me
happen.
I didn't. You trying to feed her? Yeah, she broke out of the little asylum with the help of the Terminator. You know what I'm saying? Escape. But we talking about Ripley. She on a whole other planet. Little girl get trapped. She don't even know it. She like, I can't just leave the little girl behind. Goes out, straps up with 2 joints, shotgun and a flamethrower in the nest. You know what I'm saying? Pow, pow, pow. The joint got the beefing with her. She in the robot. The joint tried to scream on her. She screamed to the joint back. Ah! Ripley go hard. Hey, she held over the elbow in the vacuum of space. With the elbow, like, come on.
Yeah.
Then climbed up the joint. How can you see it? Like, she got superhuman strength.
The
Got
fact
you.
that
You
Sarah
forgot
Connor-
about that, didn't you?
I mean, yes, that's a very good
Yeah, you
point.
forgot about
but
that
then it's
part.
like Sarah Connor outlasted how many Terminators? Like 4?
Yeah.
Ripley had a joint in her stomach and lived. And she came back, resurrected, was like, yeah, knew karate and everything when she came back.
If I was going to fight anyone, it would definitely be the Terminator over the alien because I can't deal with the xenomorph. Is that what they call it?
Oh, yeah, they was
I
bad.
can't deal with the xenomorph.
And they was
man.
deep.
With the acid blood.
Yeah, with the
I
acid
can't-
blood.
And they smart too. They
Yeah,
turn
they're
off the
smart,
power.
yeah.
They got the power.
Joints jump on your face.
Man.
They
It's
be like,
game over,
"Shoot
man.
me."
Game over.
Shoot me!
Like they say, them two fight, it's game over, man. Game over. We got to find somebody to fight Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
Kurt.
Captain Kirk went on every card like ladies man. He could fight. He got a whole crew behind him. He got a whip. He got the Bentley.
Han Solo.
Han Solo. Yeah, that would be a
Solo
good
versus
fight.
Captain
You know,
Kirk.
that'd be a good little
That's a
joint,
good
yo.
fight.
You know what I'm saying? He got the Bentley. He got the Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? Both of them get the ladies. Han Solo gonna bust at you immediately though. Like he's
We'll tease that for next episode.
that's a good brawler right there. You know what I mean? And then plus, you know, we gonna keep it for next time. In the meantime, catch us next episode, and remember, you could be next.